This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, we review Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, plus the Jonathan Majors trial reaches a verdict and Disney responds. Captain America Brave New World adds a new writer for some substantial reshoots, trailer reactions to Dune Part 2, Beverly Hills Cop 4, and Alex Garland's Civil War, our thoughts on the latest Monarch episode on Apple TV Plus, and Season 2 of Reacher on Amazon Prime, and a whole bunch more, all in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Monday, December 18th, 2023.
This is Frank Grillo. You know me. But who are you? Are you the discerning, sophisticated type of person who enjoys all the latest comic book and superhero TV and movie news? Pop culture references, witty banter? Me neither. I'm just here for the dick jokes.
Check. Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. Jock it, we nerd it. We funny, disturb it. We jock it, we nerd it. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah!
Hey, what's happening? How's it going, listener? Thank you for pressing play, and welcome to the Jock and Nerd podcast, where we give you comic book and superhero, TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose.
Born Jock and Nerd.
My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd.
Joining us, he's an aging archaeologist who found a time machine in his slack hole. Goes by the name Nebraska Bambino. We call him Rug Boy. What's up, Rugs?
Yeah, Indiana Jones has got his bull whip, and I got my bullshit.
That's right. There it is.
Yeah.
Zing.
Yeah. I said, well, I was going to say about he wears a Stetson, and I wear a fucking a construction helmet. I don't know. A safety helmet.
Anthony, we had a couple of other names we were bandying about. What's funnier? Nebraska Bambino, Connecticut Rugs, Idaho Rugs. Well, there's not a lot of funny state names. What's the funniest state name to you?
I mean, Idaho.
Right?
You could run with that for a little bit.
Yes. Idaho. That's just say it like that.
I mean, it's the truth.
Nobody talks about Idaho. I wanted to give Idaho some love.
Texas
is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Connecticut has got the hard K's. That always makes for a funny sound. Connecticut. Try spelling.
Yeah.
Anyways, we went with Nebraska Bambino.
Nebraska was good. I like Nebraska Bambino.
Nebraska Bambino, the archaeologist. The felty archaeologist.
You normally come up with clever stuff. This is the only time I'll give you credit. You come up with clever stuff.
I can't take the credit because Ruggs came up with this.
Oh, shit.
You know, Imran, what you should do is even when someone gives you a compliment, instead of being humble,
I will let you
just
take that.
Oh, he's right here. I'm not going to fucking throw him under the bus.
He would respect you more if you just took the credit away from him.
It's my buddy. Listen, I'm an artist. Credit deserved due to the artist. That's that. You can't. I would never do that, but I should have just taken it. Rugs would have said shit.
Yes.
I steal all your jokes all the time, bro.
There you go. It's collaborative. It was a collab, as the kids say. Anyways, enough of this bullshit. Boy, do we have a lot to discuss this week. We got a movie to review and some crazy news. We're going to get right into it.
The Jock and Nerd podcast.
This can be described as breaking news as we are recording Monday, December 18th. Huge update on the Jonathan Majors situation here.
Right.
I'm just going to get right to it. From the Hollywood Reporter, a New York jury found Marvel actor Jonathan Majors guilty of reckless assault in the third degree and guilty of harassment. The verdict was reached by a 6-person jury after roughly over 4 hours of deliberation spread across 3 days. Majors, wearing a gray suit and black dress shirt and tie, stood with his attorneys as the verdict was read, with family members and his girlfriend, Megan Good, behind him.
Whoa.
Sentencing is set for February 6th. The charges, which are a misdemeanor and a violation, carry a sentence of up to 1 year in prison. On 2 other charges, he was found not guilty of intentional assault in the third degree and not guilty of aggravated harassment in the second degree. Major's attorney, Priya Chaudhry, said in a statement afterward that he, quote, looks forward to fully clearing his name, implying he may appeal And then here's the big bombshell. Immediately after that, shortly after the verdict, Marvel Studios has dropped the actor as Kang the Conqueror. He's fired.
Well, yeah, Disney's already fucking in trouble, so they don't want any other shit bouncing back on them. So they're just cutting their loss.
Found guilty and fired. To refresh people, if you don't know, just real quick, it says here, in total, Majors faced 4 charges of assault, aggravated harassment, and harassment after he called 911 on March 25th when he said he found his ex-partner, Grace Jabari, unconscious in their apartment. Police arrested Majors after finding apparent injuries on Jabari, including a laceration behind her ear and a bruised and fractured finger. Majors pleaded not guilty to all charges. So we just had one of our Discord hangouts, and everybody was there, and we went over some of the evidence. The trial had started early this month in December, and things were being revealed. TMZ put out this crazy video of what looks like Jonathan Majors trying to get away from Grace Jabari, and like a 4-block chase. You have street cameras following them for a few blocks as he's running, but also doing some shoving of her in the car, trying to get away. She testified during this trial that the alleged incident occurred in a private car when she saw a text on Major's phone that read, quote, "How I wish to be kissing you." Jabari has said she tried to snatch the phone from Majors, who then pried her fingers from the phone, grabbed her arm and right hand, twisted her forearm, and struck her head to get the phone away from her. Then they also released text messages. From her, some redacted, between her and Jonathan Majors, in which he's saying things like, even if you go to the hospital and they lie, they're not going to believe you. This is going to be an investigation. Not things that don't make him look good. There was also an audio voicemail released in which he was like, "You need to be my Coretta Scott King. I'm a great man. I'm doing great things." And some other things. You can find all this if you Google. I'll put some links in the show notes. This is also interesting. The charges against Majors were brought by the state of New York, not by Jabari herself. This was a criminal trial as opposed to civil, meaning the burden of proof is higher for the jury, who had to find proof of guilt beyond a reasonable doubt on each charge. So they just found him guilty on that one charge. But 4 hours is not a long time to deliberate either. That's a very quick decision.
Right.
Comment on this, you guys. We watched the video. We've seen these texts. We've been following this.
From what I saw happening in the beginning of the video, that was the most indescript thing. So you can't really tell what's going on.
Yeah, it's very pixelated.
We kind of figured out that he kind of shoved her in the car and she hit her head. And I don't know what went on in the car before they got out, because it looked like when they got out of the car, it was like a scuffle going on. So there might have been stuff going on in the car, but everything else after that seemed like she was like kind of chasing after him and like trying to talk to him, and he was running away from her. I don't know. Maybe she was trying to get him in trouble. I don't know. She was mad. I guess he was cheating. I don't know. Just from what you told me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a very crazy moment. It seems like he probably wish he could have taken back whatever happened in that car, that moment. And, or he freaked him out.
There's another statement I want to share by Jonathan Majors' attorney, Priya Chaudhry, regarding the decision. She says, quote, "It is clear that the jury did not believe Grace Jabari's story of what happened in the SUV because they found that Mr. Majors did not intentionally cause any injuries to her. We are grateful for that. We are disappointed, however, that despite not believing Mr. Jabari, the jury nevertheless found that Mr. Majors was somehow reckless while she was attacking him." So this misdemeanor seems like he was just a little too physical in his defense.
He's defending himself too physically.
Too aggressive.
Is that what they're trying to say?
Too aggressively, because the charge is
yeah, it just sounds like it sounds like
reckless assault in the third degree and harassment.
It just sounds like a sloppy moment that went too crazy too fast. What do you think, Tony?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't in the trial. I can only talk about what's been reported. Yeah, I mean, something happened, right? So, I mean, she clearly had a fracture in her hand or something, a laceration. Whether that was caused by him or not, I don't know. Sounds like, if he went through the trial. He was found guilty on one of the things. You got to kind of run with that. I mean, I know trials don't always end in the way that people get falsely convicted of stuff all the time.
Yeah.
But this is the judicial system. This is what happened to him. Can't really speculate on like if it was fair or not. Yeah, and the thing that I noticed right away is, I mean, Disney pulled the trigger. They had this.
Oh, they were waiting to click
within
send.
30 minutes of this being released. They were already had something written up and were ready to go to release. So they kind of had they were already prepped for it.
Yeah.
And they might have even gotten like a heads up, like, hey, this isn't going to go well.
Well, they knew that this day was happening. They knew that this trial was happening.
But they knew probably it wasn't going to go the way they needed it to go to ever keep him. So, yeah, they cut the loss. And, it's, I mean, unfortunate situation for, I think the first thing is like, if all these things did happen, it's an unfortunate situation for the girl.
Yeah.
It's definitely, if Majors probably deserves to lose this opportunity. You're going to get rewarded for shit like this. It's an unfortunate situation for everybody. So, yeah.
I have a question. This has nothing to do with what actually happened, but hypothetically, if some dude came up to you and tried to take your phone and you hurt him by accident or just hurt him to keep him from taking your phone, would you think you'd go to jail for that?
I mean, is that assault? It's assault.
I'd say that's self-defense. I don't know what happened here. I don't know what.
No one does. But like, that's the picture that they're trying to paint anyway, right? So
when does self-defense?
Apparently there was enough evidence. Like Imran said, we're definitely not law experts or anything, but they convicted him pretty quick of at least one of the charges.
Yeah,
4 hours.
4 hours
is not a lot.
No.
To get a unanimous. I mean, you have to get a unanimous.
So he's going to jail. You think? Or you think he's going to beat the jail?
I don't know if he's going to jail.
He's facing a year, and they're probably going to appeal it, which would be the smart thing. But
they'll probably, even if they'll probably settle it like to something, maybe like a couple, like maybe a month or two, a couple months in jail and some community service and counseling or something like that.
Yeah, it's not like you can pay a settlement, right? It's not a civil trial. It's a criminal trial.
Well, I mean, so I think we should just move on from like if he was guilty or not. Like we can't really speculate on that. We should more talk about okay, what's next for Marvel.
Exactly. That's why I brought this up. I'm just presenting the facts. But now here's the thing: this happens. Disney did what they did. Anthony, you are Marvel. You are Disney Studios. What do you do?
Recast, baby.
Yeah, not
recast.
Kill the character.
I think recast. No, don't kill the character. Recast. Also, I mean, this provides them in a way. I know that that they were thinking about even switching things up anyways. This kind of, in a way, provides them a clean slate to be like, let's just refocus and think about our plan here, and if we were on the path to executing a good plan anyways, and if we need to shake it up, and they can do whatever. They can do Doom. I would just recast. So
they should just take a page out of Kathleen Kennedy's book and just recast and
they've done it too, though. We got Ed Norton turns into Mark Ruffalo.
We've got we got the William Hurt.
William Hurt is Harrison Ford. Terrence Howard turned into Don Cheadle.
Yep, exactly. So this isn't unprecedented. I'd like to see them recast. I think also I liked Jonathan Majors as Kang. But they didn't have like the best intro for that character in Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania. Yeah, kind of got his ass kicked. He
was in a lot.
Character could get a fresh start too.
Yeah, and if you think about where they left the storyline in Loki and at the end of Ant-Man, they really can do whatever they want in both cases.
Right, you don't even have to use Kang if you don't want to.
Or if you recast them, you can recast them. Say they recast. Throw out some names. Who would you like to see? I've heard people mention. Well, Terrence Howard would be funny if you brought him back.
Oh, my God.
That wouldn't happen. John David Washington or even Denzel.
I like John David. The one I saw, I looked this up right before the show, and one of the names that was thrown out there that would be just the wildest thing ever was Will Smith.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. And then this would be like Will Smith's redemption for slapping Chris Rock.
What about Snipes?
Oh, what about he's home.
What about Snipes? Snipes not doing nothing right now.
You got John Boyega.
Wait. What do you think the depth of Wesley Snipes is? Do you think he could do different versions of himself?
You think no? It would just
be the motherfucking Kang.
It would be this.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
That's King.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to change time.
It would just be that.
It would be just King as Wesley Snipes. Would be
Some
hilarious.
motherfuckers always trying to manipulate time and space for their own good.
Always trying to break the multiverse. These motherfuckers.
What if it was Lawrence Fishburne?
He's already in it.
Oh, he's in it.
He was in Ant-Man. He was Giant.
He is Giant Man.
Yeah.
Oh, right. He is Giant Man.
Will Smith is funny. That would be fucking
Will
hilarious.
Smith? That would
Wesley
be
Snipes
hilarious.
would be hilarious.
What about Ving Rhames?
Ving
Man, you're just
Rhames?
going with like all the actors that are like 65 years old.
Yes.
I'm trying to get the old, badass, like intimidating actors.
Yeah.
You know?
Yahya Abdul-Mateen.
Yeah,
I like him.
yeah. I mean, he's probably done as Black Manta, so
Right.
but he's supposed to be in that Wonder Man show as Wonder Man, if that even ever happens. Dustin Daniel Cretton.
Someone,
my God.
Someone said, there's John David Washington. Someone's just like, why don't you just go Denzel Washington?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and if they could get Denzel in one of these, fucking,
As Kang?
it'd be crazy. It'd be crazy.
I think, who do you think? I mean, I think it's got to be someone in their 30s or 40s.
Yeah,
They'll probably do like John David Washington, John Boyega,
somebody named John.
Yahya Abdul-Mateen.
Yeah.
Someone named
John.
John would be pretty good.
I wish Chukwudi Iwuji, the guy that did High Evolutionary, I wish he wasn't the High. He would have been a good King.
Did he die at the end of that movie?
He did, yes.
He did. He was great. He would have been
He
great.
was great.
Oh my God, I love that guy. He would have been a great King. Also we know. I wonder if they're still gonna. We'll find out.
What do you think? Do you think they should keep Kang going, end the character,
Jeez,
pivot all the way to Doom? Just go. Let's just do Doom and have Doom be the main villain.
the problem, I just feel like the problem is it's so late in the game when they were trying to set this guy up as the big bad for their upcoming Avengers movies to move that many pieces around. They already got a new writer. There's no director. That dude walked away. I could see it.
I mean, they got the new writer. I think they got rid of the writer, and now that we've seen how this played out, before it was all speculation.
Yeah.
But now that we've seen the director move on, the writer move on, it almost feels like to me that Kang is not going to be a part of this.
So Michael Waldron is now writing Avengers 5. Yeah, a lot of people saying they're calling this Avengers 5. But I've heard also Campia said he heard from producers that he knows that they are thinking of recasting. And we've talked before, Kang, the character, he's a great character. He's integral in
I love Kang.
The multiverse, and he's can be very intimidating. And so I wouldn't mind. I don't know. If there's a good story that you can do it without him, do it. But I wouldn't mind the recast because you already
Here's some other names.
Yeah,
Idris Elba.
Oh, I could see that.
Ray Fisher. Cyborg.
Oh, Cyborg. After he said talk shit about DC coming over.
David Oyelowo. I don't know who that is.
Yellow. I know. Where
Here's
is
one
he from?
for you.
Yeah.
You'll love this. N.T. Rama Rao Jr., the guy from
RRR?
RRR.
Yes, do it. I'm telling you, one of those fuckers needs to get into a Marvel movie.
Yahya Abdul-Mateen, Corey Hawkins.
Corey Hawkins, who played Dr. Dre in Straight Outta Compton. He's very good.
John Boyega, and then this article is thrown out. Viola Davis.
Oh,
gender
swap King to Viola Davis.
What about Nick Cannon?
Yeah, no. Although I'm sure he
instead Nick Cannon, instead of just having variations of himself playing himself, he just had all his kids play his variations. Does he have 20 kids at this point?
He's like, I could save you on CGI. You don't even need to fake the rest of me. I got 20 kids. They can all be kings. Cost a lot less.
What about Bokeem?
Oh, Bokeem Woodbine, not Dave Chappelle.
Wasn't he already in the Marvel?
He was.
Yes,
he was the Shocker.
Yeah, in the Spider-Man movies.
Bokeem, he would have been in the running.
Not Dave Chappelle.
Not Dave Chappelle.
At that point, might as well just.
But he's a pretty intimidating dude.
He does. He somewhat.
Yeah.
I still every time I see him on screen, I'm like, I'm rich, bitch.
He looks like a slightly chubbier Dave Chappelle, a bigger,
looks so much
older. Oh my God, he does.
I gotta see them in the same room together.
I don't think they've ever been in the same room together.
What about if it's Ice Cube was Kang?
Oh, that would be great. He's just yelling at people. Yo, fuck the police. He's just walking around.
And then the variations would be iced tea and vanilla ice.
Oh, get all the ices in there.
Yes.
Anyone
Ice.
that named Young.
I like that
Or
idea. Young or Lil.
Young Thug.
Yeah.
Or
Young Jeezy.
There's like a female rapper. It's like Ice Spice. Yes. She's a
Oh,
current
yes.
female
Yeah,
rapper
she was
too.
on SNL. She was
one of the Barbie songs.
Oh, she was? I
Yeah.
thought she was all right.
The main
I thought
one.
she was all right. All right, look, let me bring up the larger picture here for the MCU. Aside from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, the last couple of movies have underperformed. The last couple of TV shows have not been the crowd pleasers that they were hoping.
Loki.
Except for Loki.
By the way, not to completely derail this,
Uh-huh.
but there was a trailer for Echo that came out today too.
Oh yeah, there's a new one advertising pretty much that it's coming out a day earlier on the 9th, the evening, like 8 p.m.
And that it was super violent.
Yeah, I didn't put it in there. It was a good trailer. I watched it. I was like, oh shit, I can't wait to watch this show. It looks great. So
5 episodes.
5 episodes all dropping at once. That might be great. But look, they've had problems this year, and on top of that now they've run into this and lost their big bad villain they were building up to. Victoria Alonso, they let go. She's been around since the beginning. And rumors
Well, she's been gone for a bit.
for a little bit, but she's been there the majority of the time. It was this year, I think, that happened. And then rumors that Kevin Feige maybe wanting to do something else.
Really?
That's what I'm hearing. So I'm seeing rumblings of that. All that being said, is this a fucking death nail for the MCU? Can they still survive this?
no.
It's not.
Really?
It's not a death nail. It's just a little setback, little bump.
Are you saying no, it's not a death nail, or yes, no, they can't survive this?
I think that they could probably get some kind of excitement for the word Secret Wars.
Yeah.
But if the elements, you can't just use the title alone. Like, I think the title alone and the idea that this big event is going to be happening will be exciting. And the fact that maybe some of the X-Men will appear or something like that, maybe Fantastic Four. But I think it's never going to reach the same heights. It's not. There's no way. There's nothing really sexy enough that's going to be like, whoa, we got to go check that out. And I don't think Marvel can make good movies anymore. I don't think the Disney machine can actually make good stuff anymore. I just don't.
Kevin Feige also recently said that they're not going to bring back Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man.
No, like this system that they have, they're not going to break it.
Yeah.
They're going to still do the previs.
Right.
They're still going to have
Marvel
the oversight.
method. Yeah.
They're still going to have their method. They're going to kind of keep changing things as they go. Like all this stuff they say they're going to do differently, I don't think it's really going to change at all because it's still the company is inherently doing things this way. Like across the board, Star Wars is the same thing. They're greenlighting stuff. They have no idea what it is. Even fucking J.J. Abrams, they have no idea what Rey's story was when he got on board. Like they're just, I don't think they're really thinking things through and actually. So no, I don't know. I really don't have faith in it. I don't have faith. I do have faith in the Marvel properties. Mm-hmm. Like Secret Wars would be great if they did it right.
Right.
But now, they still have to get everything on par. They have to get X-Men running, so they get Fantastic Four running.
Yeah.
And then they have to create the Secret War. They have to get everybody on board. You have to get Spider-Man in there because Spider-Man's a big piece of that. And I don't know. They're already changing the Silver Surfer to be a girl. From what I hear.
Yeah.
So, they're still doing the same stupid stuff. They're not really going, we're going right back to the comics and we're going to stick to it this time. They're not doing that. So, I don't believe it.
This would be a great time to release the Fantastic Forecast. To be a great distraction after this. What do you think, Anthony?
I don't think this is the death nail for them. I think the main problem for Marvel, once streaming hit, once the burdens of having to provide 5 or 6 shows on top of 4 movies hit, I think that was too much for the Marvel machine and broke it in terms of creative oversight. We're making things on the fly now, having to do this with a TV medium. So, and then overhiring and quality control all went down. So I think right now they are pulling back a lot of stuff. So that's a good move. A lot of it's by design, right? Or not a lot of it they were forced to do because of the writer's strike too.
Yeah.
They need to save money too.
Yes.
Yeah, and streaming is not what the streaming in 2020 is not what it is in 2023. Now going into 2024 for Disney, it's not about. It has to turn a profit, so they have to pull back on stuff. So maybe they're forced to do this. So we'll see what it looks like now that all the stuff that was made in the what I'll call. Let's just get everything. Let's just throw shit at the wall era.
Yeah.
Now that that's like all kind of cleared out, because I think we're getting the last of that. I think Echo.
Yeah.
Is really like maybe even last, and maybe that even got changed a little bit. But everything else that's coming out now is going to be under like this new slower down pace.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. I think there's certainly some opportunity for them to right the ship, but it's kind of a wait and see approach. Like, the last few things haven't been good, but I'm willing to see what happens with them pulling back.
Well, let's think about the Black Panther movie.
Yeah.
Like that was supposedly going to be like, okay, we're getting back into the Quantumania after that. Like it was just, we liked the movie. I guess we liked parts of the Black Panther. It's not bad,
and they had this big task that was thrown at them, this big change with the.
Well, the problem with Black Panther, in my opinion, I like the movie. I don't love that movie.
Yeah,
I think the problem with that movie is not the curveball they got thrown. I actually think they handled that really well.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it goes back to them serving too many masters. I think the Ironheart plot
was not
really
necessary.
Doesn't work.
Yeah.
In that movie, and actually bloats the movie and makes it more confusing. And that's all to set up a show.
Yep.
So if you just don't have that, I think that streamlines the movie a little bit more.
Absolutely. If it was more just about Namor and the relationship between the Atlanteans and the Wakandans and shit. Like you didn't need the Riri Williams.
That throws the movie into like a whole like side thing that doesn't need to happen.
I mean, they fucked up a show with Sam Jackson, Ben Mendelsohn, Olivia Colman, Emilia Clarke, Kingsley Benadir. How do you fuck up a show with this talent? And they fucking did it, which was surprising. Anyways,
that was bad.
Listener, let us know what you think. Is this what you think where Marvel's headed? Join the conversation. Join our Facebook group. It's called Jock and Nerd Nation. Jock and Nerd. It is a closed group.
I mean, it could get worse, but they're pretty much close to the as bad as it can be thus far.
Look, can we do a sports analogy? Can we do a sports analogy?
Sure.
So let's say
let's hear this.
I'm not going to say anything specific, but I'm saying when a team goes cold, they usually don't come back for a while. They
years.
If they have multiple losses, like the Jets never came back.
Your teams come back. Teams come back in season.
But
the Nets,
but sometimes
like any of the New York teams,
takes decades. Sometimes
what I would equate it to is like there's these dynasties like the Celtics or the Lakers that like go on these runs, and they like the Celtics in the 60s won, then they like went down for a period and they come back.
Yeah.
The only problem with movies, but the difference between movies and sports is people are very, very loyal to sports, thus they still make money.
Yeah.
People's interest in movies will shift.
They wane a lot quicker. Yeah.
So it works even more against Marvel then.
Yeah. Well, it could. It could. I mean, it could.
Look, here's some more good and bad things. Like, I'm really looking forward to Deadpool 3. It's the only movie.
I'm looking forward to that.
I mean, oh my God.
Yeah, it'll be a good time.
I just read a thing. We may get a trailer in February. That would make sense. There's some fake trailers out there. Don't believe it. But I think Deadpool 3 has the potential to make $1 billion and kind of bring them back. Now, what I'm really concerned with is after that, Captain America 4, Captain America Brave New World. If you don't know, like, this movie has essentially been shot and in the can for a while and has not been testing well at all. And this new report says they have hired another writer, a guy who wrote on Moon Knight, Matthew Orton, to write new scenes and new material for like an extended reshoot that's going to happen this spring. And I've heard that they are changing huge parts of this movie that are not working. So it could go but one of two ways. Either A, this movie is a fucking mess and it's going to be a disaster, or they're taking their time to actually go back, spend the money, do it right. I think these are more than just your normal
thought that
reshoots.
the movie was like involving like some kind of Middle Eastern thing, so like they wanted to get away from that.
Well, is
There
the
was
Red
that.
Hulk also in this? You have Harrison Ford as President Ross?
He's right though. There was rumors that it was supposed to have an Israeli superhero.
Oh, right. And that may have also have to and that could have been a huge plot line, right? We don't know. They may have to rewrite like half the movie. I'll
just say that if that's the case, Captain America with Anthony Mackie has been just cursed because the Falcon and Winter Soldier was supposed to have a contagion disease storyline that they had to shit out
because of
they cover up midway through because of COVID, and now you got this.
And then they went terrorists there, and then that didn't really work. But
the problem, the only thing I would say about this is none of this sounds very good.
Yeah.
I didn't like the writing choice for this one. They hired the writer originally that wrote Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I didn't really like the way that show went. And then they were like, "Oh, you did good. Let's do Captain America 4." So I didn't really get that. Well, we'll see. I mean, I also this movie I think was super affected by the writer's strike. So
yeah.
This I think they had to.
I mean, the best shit in that
re up the engine. This one,
as far as like the best shit in that show to me was his conversations with Carl Lumley about what does it mean to be a black Captain America in America, and then it did give us a U.S. agent Wyatt Russell, which was fantastic.
Well, I'm currently watching in Monarch.
Yes, we'll get to that at the end. But then they had that whole redheaded curly hair girl terrorist thing that didn't really make a lot of sense. What the fuck they were doing? But I want to see.
And then it ends with him giving this super. Patriotic
Preachy,
speech that comes off really bad.
And you're right. Anthony Mackie deserves better as getting the mantle and like reluctantly taking the shield. Like he should get a good movie.
The problem with that show, in retrospect, too, was Endgame ends with him
not wanting it,
being like, no. Endgame ends with him being like, okay, I'll take it.
Oh, right.
Like, I'll like it's an honor. Like I can't believe you chose me. I don't know if I could live up to it, but I can't take it.
Yeah.
And then the first episode of this show is he's like, I don't want it. I'll donate it to a museum. It's like,
and he's got to get.
No, that doesn't add up to what he would have done. Like we just saw him accept it.
Also, Rhodey was a Skrull the whole fucking time when he was talking to
terrible.
I knew it.
What a mess. So we'll see. We will see what will happen. But I'm crossing my fingers, Marvel. Come on. You can write this. You can pull it up. Pull up. Just
pull up. Yo, pull up.
Pull up.
You know what that means?
What is that? Means like show up. Come on.
Yeah. Come here.
Yeah. Go pull up. Yo, pull up. Yeah.
Roll up, bitch.
Pull up, Ohio Skibbity. Yeah.
Now you're
okay.
just glazing.
Now I'm just what? Yes.
Glazing us.
Glazing. Is that like trolling?
I think so, yeah.
Glazing.
I just heard that when I was overhyping.
That makes me want to eat a donut when you say that.
That's exact. I heard it on a podcast, but they were in probably your age, and they were saying this stuff. They're like
glazing.
They're just glazing us.
Chocolate glaze?
Like they're trying to talk like the kids.
Yeah. Well, I have no business saying
sucking up to them. That's what it is.
Oh, okay.
Or overhyping something.
I see. Glazing. I'm overhyping it.
You're putting that extra. Yeah, I guess that does make sense, right? Because a glaze on a donut would be like adding more to the donut.
Yeah. It's not
you don't
necessary.
Need the glaze,
no, you don't.
Right?
It's not necessary, but it's yummy. We learned another one today. Yay.
There we go.
I love it. Yeah. Okay.
Your place for vernacular.
Let's move on to some trailers. I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on some trailers and things coming out. Dune 2 was one of the movies that got pushed back due to the writer's strike. We talked about the first trailer. They put out 3 trailers. We didn't talk about the second trailer. It doesn't matter because they just put out a third trailer. And holy shit, is this thing gorgeous?
Geek boner.
This got me super fucking psyched for this movie. I really liked the first one so much. It left me hanging that I had to go watch the David Lynch 1984 crazy movie to find out what the fuck the rest of the story is because I am not reading a fucking 600-page book. So I found out, and then I found out all the action is in the back half of this fucking story. And that's what we get in this trailer. Anthony, comments.
Jesus.
I know. Did you like the first one? I can't remember. No,
I did
you
not
didn't.
like the
You thought it was
first
a little boring, perhaps a little
I
slow.
thought it was boring. I couldn't follow it. I thought it moved really slowly. I had a tough time following everything that was happening and all
Sure.
the names and all that stuff.
Sure.
I was very disappointed in the first one. I don't know that I have high hopes for the second one, given the first one. That being said, the trailer was very epic.
Dude, that's an amazing trailer.
It was cut really well.
Yeah.
Similar to the first one, they have an amazing cast. Dennis Villeneuve, however you say his name, is a really good visual director and can put together amazing stuff. So I guess I might be willing to see this. I would need someone to do a rough recap of Dune Part 1 for me.
Oh, you could find those.
Really forgot everything, and I could probably
I'll
do that
do it.
online.
It's fine.
Yeah.
No problem.
But yeah, it looks great. Trailer looked awesome. Epic. Amazing.
It's really well cut and gets you hyped. Joining the cast this time, you got Florence Pugh, Austin Butler, Christopher Walken, joining, Timothy Chalamet, Rebecca Ferguson, Zendaya, Javier Bardem, Josh Brolin, Dave Bautista, Stellan Skarsgård, Tim Blake Nelson, a lot of people.
So many people.
A lot of people in this movie. The shit they show in here, the explosions, the scale of the armies, the scale of these sandworms. There's 3 of them coming out. Fucking dope. Rugs, what do you think? Are you excited? You're a big Dune guy.
Yeah, I do like Dune. I'm not sure how stoked I am for these movies. I did like the movie, but I thought it was lacking also. If you remember what I talked about, I was I thought it was very well made, and I thought it was really well acted and put together beautifully, but I feel like there was something missing, and it wasn't visceral enough.
Yeah.
And this seems to be a little bit more action oriented, a little bit more urgency. So that excites me, but just because the last part of the story is going to be action packed and have some cool stuff in it, I already know what happens. So it's I'm not waiting to see how it unfolds.
But it's how they do it.
How are they going to do it?
Silence.
Yeah. So I am somewhat enthused about it, but I'm not over the moon. I'm just cautiously optimistic. I do think that there's a better movie of Dune out there somewhere if someone wants to make it. But I think that this is, I guess, as good as we're going to get. So
Tim Chalamet bringing in some numbers as Wonka. So his star's on the rise there.
When we saw -1, right?
-1.
And we go, oh, this is a Godzilla movie we've been waiting to see our whole lives. This is a terrifying Godzilla. He looks right. He's CG, but he looks right. And all that stuff. There's still a version of Dune that's like that. That's we haven't gotten yet.
Well, we've only been given half the fucking movie. Maybe this will complete it.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. You never know. Anything could happen.
The scale of these armies and just all the people, and then they're riding the fucking
it looks interesting.
sandworms. This is dope.
I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I hope I love it.
Here's the one thing I noticed. There's a total of maybe 2 or 3 colors in this whole movie.
Yeah.
When it's not brown, it's orange explosions. And for some reason,
brown.
It's dark brown. And then for some reason, it's black and white in one part.
Yeah, I would like to see a little bit more color.
And there is color. It's the color of those people's eyes. It's blue.
Oh, yes, her blue eyes, Zendaya's blue eyes, very striking. All of them have blue eyes, I guess, yeah. But
what kind of people are those? Are they the Fremen?
The Fremen.
The Fremen.
And the Bene Gesserits. But it's fucking brown. This whole thing is just dirt brown.
The trailer was awesome.
The trailer was awesome.
The movie look really exciting.
Absolutely.
But I fell for that in the first one. I thought the movie would be more exciting.
Yeah. March 1st, 2024, coming out. Okay, let's move on to something a little more fun. This can be coming out summer 2024 on Netflix. Yes, he's back. Axel.
This movie has been in the works for 10, 15, 20 years?
Oh, easily. Since
Beverly Hills Cop 4.
Third one came out, they were trying to make
it, but
it's Beverly Hills Cop 4, our first official teaser trailer, showing us Eddie Murphy and returning Judge Reinhold as Rosewood, and John Ashton as Taggart, Kevin Bacon joining the cast, JGL, Joseph Gordon-Levitt joining the cast. You got Bronson Pinchot as Serge. What is this pertaining? What is it pertaining? Paul Reiser
Everyone's back.
Anthony, you got to look at this. What did you think of the tone in this first trailer?
I love the first Beverly Hills Cop. I really like the second one. The third one I watched as a kid and liked it. If I watched it now, I might not like it as much. For me, Beverly Hills Cop was always all about like Eddie Murphy's interactions with different people.
Yeah.
This one, I like the return of everybody. It seems very action heavy.
Yeah.
Like explosions and stuff. I never thought Beverly Hills was like much like it's a good action movie, but it was never focused on that. So interesting to see that. I think Netflix is a good landing spot for this.
Yeah.
You don't think people are going to run out to the theaters to watch it?
No, I think the ship has long sailed on Eddie Murphy being a box office draw.
He just put out this Candy Cane Lane also on streaming. A lot of his last movies, Dolomite was on streaming. He's 62. He looks fucking great in this trailer.
He looks great for 62.
Yeah.
I don't know what the storyline is for him to keep coming back to Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
As a Detroit cop.
Rosewood
Maybe he retired there.
Yeah.
And why is he still wearing the same jacket? But
I love that he has the same jacket. Come on. I mean, some of the action bits, like it reminded me of like an 80s action, like it had a throwback feel. I was like, oh, I like this. And then mixing in the Axel F theme with fucking Biggie Smalls was also dope in the trailer. I thought got me.
Yeah, I think it has. I don't know what to make of it.
Right?
What do you think? What does Ruggs think?
Ruggs, what do you think?
Well, the fact that it's on Netflix is like there's no barrier to me watching it.
Right.
Like I'm going to be bored enough to watch it at some point.
Yeah.
And since I'm not getting up, going somewhere, like having to be somewhere, or schedule my life around going to see this.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to be as harsh on it probably. And so there's no stakes to it being good or bad. It just like, do I have any interest to watch it? And I do, out of curiosity. It's not going to be the first thing I watch, but it's definitely whenever they release this fucking
summertime.
thing.
It's a great summertime Netflix fucking.
I'll probably make time to sit down and watch it.
He's in the back seat of the car with Rosewood and Taggart.
I like Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
I like Eddie Murphy. I feel like that he's still funny sometimes when I see him on talk shows.
Yeah.
He's still able to make people laugh.
Absolutely.
He tells stories about his kids and stuff, and they're funny.
Yeah.
So,
speaking of scheduling, I forgot to mention Dune Part 2 will be Denis Villeneuve's longest movie yet. It's coming in at like 2 hours, 47 minutes. So
another ass cheek breaker.
Yeah, get your fucking bladder bag ready.
The one thing I have to mention though is I haven't seen it, but I know what you guys had seen it. Coming to America 2 wasn't that good, right?
Was not good. No.
So that's a little bit of my like. Does Eddie care about these things enough to make these actually good?
I think that Coming to America was such a specific movie.
Yeah.
That like is about. Yeah, it was like it was of its time. You can't really. Beverly Hills Cop. It's just a cop movie. It's like a detective movie.
Yeah,
it's like with jokes.
Yeah. No,
I think you could make one.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Coming to America, it just was something of its time.
Well, there was
I don't
like
know.
that Coming to America thing. There was like a whole run of these movies that were making sequels 30 years later that were all kind of the same. You know, you had the Bill and Ted's, you had the Jay and Silent Bob, you had the Coming to America, Borat. It was all like just them and then their kids. And every movie was the same, and the kids end up helping them. And
well, yeah, this is like the 20-year nostalgia thing.
Yeah, it was.
It's a pattern that they do all the time.
Like every one of those movies that were coming back were like the same fucking movie.
So you like remember in the 70s they had like the 50s comeback, and they had like Grease and like Sha Na Na and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So and Happy Days.
Yeah.
With
Things always come back.
So there's always like a 20-year revolving thing where people like grow up with stuff and then it comes back, and then when they have disposable income to buy
it's all, and like that's the other thing I love. The nostalgia in this is also working. It's directed by Mark Malloy, who I don't know, he's not really done. Well, this is like his first big movie. Okay. Okay.
First time in the big
He's
game.
just been directing videos. He's got 4 videos, and now this is his
videos. What do you mean videos?
It says video. I don't know. They're called Apple. Videos for Apple iPad homework, Apple at Work, The Underdog. I don't know what these are. Nissan Shoulder of Giants video.
Oh, who is he related to? Who's getting this?
He knows somebody to get this fucking gig.
Who's he the nephew of?
Yeah. Okay, last trailer for the news segment. We got a new flick from one Alex Garland.
Oh,
we may know
maker of Ex Machina
and Annihilation.
Right.
We reviewed.
Yeah, Anthony, did you like Annihilation? I also don't remember.
I was not on that show. I had an issue
right.
that one, but
That's right.
that movie was fucking weird.
I
don't know that I like that movie.
Yeah,
but I would also like if someone was going to say what's the weirdest movie you've watched, I'd say go watch that one.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell me what you think about that one.
He is a very interesting writer director. It can be slow and ambiguous and really heady at times. His new movie from A24 is called Civil War. No, not Captain America Civil War. Just the actual Civil War.
Well,
it's from A24. Apparently, it's their biggest budget movie they've made yet. And
it's got Kirsten Dunst and her husband.
Yes, Kirsten Dunst.
Jesse Plemons.
Kirsten Dunst playing a journalist. Nick Offerman as the president. You hear basically the trailer sets up this future America where 19 states have seceded. There's something called the Western Forces where California and Texas have joined together. I don't know how the fuck that works out.
Yeah, I don't know if those two states have joined together.
I don't know if that ever happened. But the trailer goes on to be kind of frightening. I'm like, is this a documentary?
So of course.
Wow. Like the scene where the Jesse Plemons is playing a military dude and the guy's like, hold on, I'm an American. And Jesse Plemons just looks at him and goes, oh yeah? What kind of American? I was like, holy shit.
So like the original Civil War.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The whole entire South was like,
it was
fuck
Iron
this.
Man and Captain America were on different. Oh, sorry.
No. The whole entire South was like, fuck this. We want to do business our way, do things our way.
Yeah.
And they seceded.
Yeah.
So then we went to war with them and made them come back. Is that what happened?
They were defeated. Yes.
Well, technically they were
reconquered into the America.
Well, they were,
or they agreed. Okay, we'll stop fighting. We'll come back.
I forget what the term. The term is escaping me, but they were essentially insurrectionists. They were
insurrectionists. Sure.
They were plotting to take down the government, which was a crime. So we didn't.
Right.
We were taking out the insurrectionists by doing that.
So you took out the insurrectionists, and then everybody said, "Oh, we'll come back," and that was that.
I don't think they had a choice.
So is that how it would work out? Like if it happened again? That's why I'm asking.
You would take down the warring faction until they didn't have enough left to fight. And then to the winner goes the spoils.
The president in this one is bombing his own people. Anthony, just as a movie, did this pique your interest? Would you?
Yeah, it actually was pretty interesting.
Right?
The first thing that I noticed was A24, which was a good studio.
Yeah.
And then I watched the trailer and went, wow, this looks like a summer blockbuster that they're putting out.
Yeah.
This has to be expensive, and then you confirm that this is the most expensive thing they've done because A24 usually does a lot of.
How much did they spend on this?
I don't know how much. I'll find out. Go ahead. I'll find out.
Yeah,
they do a
lot of like smaller stuff, more personal stories. So this looks interesting. The guy that's playing it's the guy that played El Chapo in Narcos.
Yes,
not El Chapo. Pablo Escobar. It's a Brazilian actor.
Apparently, budget is probably around $75 million.
Oh, okay, that's healthy.
Yeah, but it's the most expensive.
Interesting.
This would look fucking fascinating. So, aside from like the politics and whatnot, the thing is, Alex Garland, he's an Englishman. He's British. So this essentially is a look from like an outsider. And like some people are going to be like, "Oh, it's a red state movie, blue state movie." No. It's a look from an outsider at the current state of politics, and this is his reaction and his artistic interpretation or whatever, or this kind of sci-fi future. Is it even science fiction? I don't know what kind of genre this is, but I find it interesting to see from kind of an outsider what he thinks is going to happen if shit hits the fan.
I don't know. I'm dubious on this because you have Texas and California teaming up together.
I will watch this movie just to see how that happens.
I'm like, those two states are diametrically opposed.
Yeah.
People are leaving California to go to Texas.
I mean, shit's got to get real fucked up for those two to be like, you know what, we should align.
So it's like, I'm already like, okay, the reality in this is kind of like not there. And so you're supposed to like, now this is an alternate reality where Texas and California are cool with each other and want to be buddies.
Yeah, so that could be the sci-fi part of it, right? Is what is going on here. But holy shit, it's chilly.
But I just think you have to do so much homework to get everybody up to speed on what everybody's states thoughts are.
No, you just set it up with news fucking anchors audio in the beginning of the movie and you're done. You just fucking jump in. 19 states have seceded. That's all you need to know.
Okay.
I don't know. It's frightening though. I'll tell you, it's a little frightening. That's spring 2024 also we will be getting. Okay, let's take a quick break here, fellas. We'll play some promos, and we are going to be talking about the last outing for one Indiana Jones. Coming up right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
What's up? This is Brian, and I'm the host of Citizens of Pawnee, a Parks and Recreation podcast. That's right, a podcast dedicated to my favorite TV show, Parks and Rec. Every week I discuss my favorite things about the show, which include character breakdowns, episode rewatches, and other random facts and tidbits about the show. You can find me on Instagram at Citizens of Pawnee Podcast and listen wherever you get your podcasts now. You will literally love it.
What's up, Jock and Nerd Nation? This is Logan at Mostly Superheroes, a podcast that was partly inspired by the Jock and Nerd podcast. We talk about a lot of the same stuff, MCU, DC heavy, with other content that comes out of HBO Max, Amazon Prime, Netflix, and more. We're committing to doing something new every day in 2021, so come join the fun, check out the schedule. Find us at mostlysuperheroes.com and enjoy the rest of the show.
And Nerd.
Listener, if you enjoy this show, it is a fantabulous time to join our Patreon fan club. Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon.
Jock and Nerd.
You can give back, support the show on a monthly or annual basis, and get stuff based on the tier of support that you choose. There is stuff like an exclusive podcast feed where the shows come out early. We post bonus content like instant reactions, additional movie reviews. Last week we had a little fun music discussion about Gen X anthems. It was lots of fun. That's on the feed. Check it out. You can also hang out with us on our monthly Discord hangout we do. We just had one last week. It was lots of fun. The improbable happened. Brian Goff and Matt Dalhauer were there at the same time, and they have the same exact voice. I'm convinced they're the same person.
We should do like take the audio of that.
Yeah, I'm convinced one of them is ventriloquizing the other one. Something.
Yeah.
It was wild. So if you want to check that out, the next one will be next year, January 2024, Thursday, January 18th, 2024, in the new year. And there's a tier where you can pick a movie you want us to review. There's a tier where you get an exclusive t-shirt, lots of fun stuff over on Patreon, jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Check it out now. Link in the episode description. Okay, this week we are going to be reviewing Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Here's your spoiler alerts.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
So here's the thing. This movie came out earlier this year, June, in the theaters, and I went to see it because I love Indiana Jones. And I was excited to see a new Indiana Jones movie. And I saw it, and I came back, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to force the guys to watch the movie. Initially, it was okay, but it's now on Disney Plus. Makes it a lot easier. And with second watch, my opinion may have changed. We're going to find out, but this is the fifth and apparently final Indiana Jones movie because Harrison Ford is 80-something. On Rotten Tomatoes, the movie currently is sitting at 69%. Nice.
Nice.
On
69, dude.
That's the 6.4 out of 10 critics. Audience rating, 88%. And then here's where things go kind of south. The budget of this movie, for some reason, listed between $295 and $300 million fucking dollars.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Damn. Opening weekend domestic, it does 60 million opening weekend. Currently, it's sitting at a worldwide of a $383 million, and 174 that is from domestic take. This is approximately, when all the numbers are crunched, apparently $100 million loss for Disney. So it's a pretty big commercial flop there. This is the only film in the Indiana Jones series that is neither directed by Steven Spielberg or conceived by George Lucas. They are both executive producers on this one. It is directed by James Mangold, who has given us Logan, Ford versus Ferrari, lots of other great movies. Written by David Kiep and Jez and John Henry Butterworth. They're siblings. It's a writing duo. The Butterworths.
I prefer Jez Butterworth.
Mrs. Butterworth. So they make delicious syrup from my pancakes. Coming back for the last time, of course, Harrison Ford is Indiana Jones. Phoebe Waller-Bridge playing Helena, his goddaughter. Antonio Banderas in a quick cameo. Karen Allen playing Marion in a quick cameo. John Rhys-Davis coming back as Sala. Indy. And you got Toby Jones playing Basil Shaw, a buddy of his. Boyd Holbrook as one of the bad guys. Mads Mikkelsen as the main bad dude, Dr. Voller, and some other people. That's your main cast there. Anthony.
Yes.
You had not watched this before, correct?
No.
So let us know kind of your history with Indiana Jones, and then dive into the plot of what happens in this PG-13 2-hour and 37-minute movie. It's a little on the long side also.
Yes.
For an Indiana Jones movie.
I've never been a big Indiana Jones fan. I remember seeing clips of the one with, what's his name? The little
Sean Connery? Short Round.
No.
Temple of Doom.
Round.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember seeing a dude get his heart taken out.
Yes, Molaram.
Yeah.
Kalima.
And snakes and stuff.
Oh,
so
he hates snakes.
Knew all about all the, like, seeing that stuff, but never really watched the films in totality. I did, for the 80s tournament, watch the first one.
Raiders.
That was all right. You know, good for its time.
Oh, right. Raiders
obviously a big blockbuster for its time.
Yeah.
And considered an all-timer. Didn't ever get around to watching 2, 3, or 4 in totality. So, like I said, not a big indie fan. As far as this one, what happens? This is set in the late 60s. And
Correct.
Indy is 1,000 years old. No, he's somewhere. The math does not make sense, by the way, for what it's worth. That's the first thing I noticed. So this movie is supposed to be 20 years after the World War II, right?
Yeah, it's 1969, and then
so it's 20 years after his adventures, but he looks like he's 80.
He is 80.
So you're telling me he's like 60 during his adventures? That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, that's a good point.
And the reason that doesn't make any sense is actually it's been 40 years since he's done those movies.
Yes.
So, anyways, that math isn't, as the kids say these days, the math ain't mathing. But otherwise, anyways, he's in his 60s and he's kind of just this professor teaching about archaeology when all of a sudden his goddaughter shows up and brings him back into an adventure with a artifact that someone he met in the 1940s from Nazi Germany that he thought he killed is now also after this artifact that can change everything. And he's on another adventure.
The Come on, tell me you don't get fucking goosebumps when you hear that fucking music.
Well, you do.
I do.
I don't have the nostalgia to it.
Okay, wait. Before we find out what you thought, we heard your history. I'm going to break down mine real quick. I loved Indiana Jones, partly because I think my dad took me to see Temple of Doom in the theater when I was very little, and I saw people speaking Urdu and pulling a heart out of a fucking guy. And I fucking love that movie. I love Last Crusade. Then I went back and I watched Raiders. The fourth one is shit. But I've always loved Indiana Jones. I love the music, the wit. I wanted that hat for a long time. The fedora, the whole getup. So I was excited to see this. Ruggs, what's your feeling on the Indiana Jones franchise?
Indiana Jones, to me, Raiders of the Lost Ark was always like a good movie. I didn't like Temple of Doom that much. But I liked the third one. Cause I got into the whole like, Holy Grail shit.
Yeah.
That like really drew me.
Yeah.
So, what were they looking for in the Temple of Doom?
There was the Stones of Shankara.
Yeah. See, I wasn't able to latch onto
So
that.
they've all been like holy relics except for this movie. They don't do that this time.
Yeah, so the whole Christian
There's a lot of religious
thing
stuff.
with the Holy
These
Grail,
stones.
the father-son dynamic.
Yep.
I thought it was really good. So I liked The Last Crusade. And I thought, okay, that's the last one.
Yeah.
And it's over with. And so I was very flabbergasted they were going to continue with him being old, because this is a young man's game, this old Indiana Jones thing.
Yeah.
But I like the movies. They're not like my go-to, but there's a nostalgia to them. They are a staple. Like, there's movies like Jaws and like Indiana Jones. Everybody just knows they're classics, and everybody knows that they're great. I don't watch them that often.
Yeah.
But I do have a high regard for them. So there you go.
Yeah. No, Last Crusade, Sean Connery, perfectly fucking cast as his dad. And yeah, that should have been the ending. Okay, but it wasn't. Anthony.
Yes.
What'd you think after watching this movie?
This is what my generation would say. It's aight.
It's aight. It's mid.
That's what the kids are saying. Okay. Mid. It's okay. I mean, don't have a huge connection, as mentioned, to Indy. Feel like the movie is very long.
Yeah.
There's a weird gloss to it. The Indy movies, well, the first one, a lot of it was very revolutionary because was shot on screen with real stunts. And there's a weird CGI gloss to everything that at times makes it look a little look nostalgic, but then at times makes it look like a video game. Like the train scene, and there's some scenes in old Syracuse that look weird. It's okay. Like there's some good action. There's some fun comedy, but I just think it's just an okay movie. Like I think what really takes me out of it is the fact that Harrison Ford is 80 years old.
Did you not
There's
buy
just no way
the 20
he's
minute
dodging? There's just no way he's doing any of this. They're not even hiding. Like he's old and he looks old, and they show him shirtless in the beginning, and he's an old man. I don't believe he can do this adventure. And furthermore, the girl, completely forgettable, first off, doesn't look all that athletic either.
No.
So it's just two unbelievable people hanging out and doing this adventure that I don't think they could do.
Yeah, I feel like it is ill-conceived.
Yeah.
It's not necessary, right? The whole movie.
It doesn't even need to happen.
It does not necessary.
Look, I had a good time watching this movie, and I didn't think it was as bad as everybody had said it was, but
I agree.
I clearly could see that it's an annoying film, and it annoys you in a lot of ways while you're watching it, but it has enough charm to like kind of win you over in its like nostalgia factor, I guess.
Yeah.
So like it's battling itself the whole time. It's working against itself the whole time.
Yes.
So it's too long, right?
Yeah.
They do improbable things that are like he gets shot and like
For
he
like
doesn't
30
die.
minutes, he's shot. Yes, at the
He
end.
doesn't even pass out, and then Phoebe Waller-Bridge knocks him out for like a month.
Yeah,
So-
we'll get to that. Yeah, he's unconscious for a long time
this
for
just-
the resolution.
And then there's like things that they did that made no sense. Like they had that CG version of Indiana like running on top of the train when they could have clearly just used a stuntman and made it more
The
believable.
first 20 minutes of this movie it takes place in the 40s, and it is a CGI.
It takes place on PlayStation 5.
It's a CGI
That's where it takes
version.
place.
That's the same train line they used, by the way, for Mission Impossible 7, that they had that production had to wait for them to be done before they could use that train line. So similar train on top of train shenanigans.
We'll just compare the two. Like the nail biting crazy train scene in that movie
is amazing.
With this movie.
Yeah.
No comparison.
Yeah.
It's like it just
Yeah.
it seemed more real in Mission Impossible. It just seemed
absolutely.
more real.
Because they were on the first standing
And
on the
there was an
fucking train.
old man doing stunts
Yes,
there.
no, but Tom Cruise and Isai Morales were on the fucking moving train, unlike this movie where I don't think they were actually on
Right.
the real train.
So it had a lot of stuff that didn't quite work. Like, and Anthony said, like Phoebe Waller-Bridge looked like not athletic at all and very lanky, but they make you want to try to believe that she could do all this stuff. And you know what? I don't think they really earned it either. Like, for example, they didn't set up that character good enough they could have really like, because she just kind of appears out of nowhere.
Yeah.
She's in one scene in a flashback for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to believe they have this bond, that she knows him, and
Wombat.
yeah, that he came up with a name for her, like all this stuff, and it's like they could have built that up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like that would have been a better place to use CG Harrison Ford, and just maybe use the stuntman that you can shoot from far away in the other shots. So just to give like that reality that you need in these movies. But yeah, it was just a strange movie. I had fun though. I felt I just felt it was a little too long. Like, it didn't need to be that long. I don't know. Matt Mikkelsen was okay as a bad guy. I thought everybody acted well.
Yeah. So look, I'll give you my high level thoughts. That I did enjoy it a little more the second time. But it is a mix of good and bad, right? It is a movie that should be better, but it could have been worse. I thought it was really well made in terms of the sets, the production, the nostalgia, the Easter eggs, the locations. I thought the performances were good. I really thought Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Harrison Ford had an amazing chemistry. Like the second time I watched it, I really dug both of them. I liked her a lot. The de-aging CGI sometimes looks great and sometimes looks really weird.
They overused it.
Yeah.
They overused it. They leaned on it too hard.
I mean, you got this, like, his voice is really old man coming out of this like younger body. Like, that's really noticeable. But I at the end, watching the second time, and the end is completely wild and kind of silly. I did enjoy the nostalgia bait. They do this thing that, like, I don't know if it's a Kathleen Kennedy thing, because she's done it again, where you take this iconic character coming back and now he's old and depressed, and then you introduce a young woman and she kind of takes over.
Like Ray.
What does that sound like? Yes.
Yeah.
What does that sound like? So
Critical Drinker has a field day with this type of stuff.
I mean, it's the same fucking thing. Like, what are you doing? But the callbacks to all the movies, I appreciated. Some of them felt a little forced, but I did enjoy the adventure.
What were the callbacks for someone that's not an indie fan?
So they go through that cave where there's all those bugs. That's from Temple
was that
of
like
Doom.
the first one?
That's Temple of Doom. That was in Temple of Doom.
Got it.
There is paintings in his apartment that you see in Last Crusade that his father had. There's what's the other one? I had a couple of them here, but there's a lot. Oh, you got a sidekick like Short Round, except it's Teddy in this one. Right. So that's another thing. So you got chases, and they do something new. They go underwater, which I don't know how effective that whole scene was. And it's also weird that they introduce fucking Antonio Banderas and then just kill him. A lot of the people close to him get murdered, and he doesn't really seem to be upset.
And that little kid murders somebody.
That little kid left a dude to drown in the fucking thing. I was like, and he didn't feel bad about it at all. Like, never comes up again.
Never even talked about it.
I was like, that's dark. Poor Sala. Sala is like, Indy, I would love to go on one last journey adventure with you. And he's just like, no, you stay here. Fuck you. I'm going on my own. I was like, come on, you got to do Sala like that?
Well, he's got like grandkids. He doesn't want him to die.
Yeah, he's got lots of kids. But I want to go, Indy. But I thought Harrison Ford's performance, he does manage to put some emotion in this when it's needed, and like as a final piece, the end is kind of satisfying and kind of weird with Marion coming back. But I want to get into some of the things, some of the details. Anything else anybody wants to mention?
Well, I just thought that bringing Marion back at the end was really not a good idea either. Like the way that it happened, I don't know. I just felt like it was a very strange like ending that seemed like all too like orchestrated.
So it's sad because in the last one, in the Crystal Skull, we meet Shia LaBeouf, who we find out is their son, Mutt Jones.
He dies.
Yeah. So they write him that he dies in Vietnam and he's divorced from Marion and he's alone. And I kind of love when it goes to 69, the Beatles starts blasting. Like, this is a man, he was been around the 40s. Rock and roll is new to him. And it's weird. And I was like, imagine that. Like, you hear the Beatles and you're like, what is that noise? I kind of feel like that now about some modern music. I get it. But the fact that the archaeologists aren't sexy anymore in the other movies, like all his students are trying to get with him and he was very popular. And this one, no one cares because of space travel. I appreciate. So the way they shot this, that whole parade was in Glasgow. That was a set. That was in a set out in Glasgow. And then the train scene was entirely a set, which is crazy. They built a whole subway train. He's riding a horse through there. But you were right, Anthony, about the CGI parts, right? Harrison Ford is known to do a lot of his own stunts in this movie, practical stunts. But here it gets a little glossy. He's jumping from tuk-tuk to tuk-tuk like he's fucking 40 years old.
Tough.
So the old man stuff didn't bother me as much the second time. I just took it like one of your old man action heroes, kind of like Denzel and Equalizer or whatever. I don't know. It's just an old man action movie that there's a bunch of those, and that's kind of the thing you have to do. That Antikythera, how do you say that? Antikythera is an actual relic. It's an actual ancient Greek item, but they embellished it up, of course, and made it magical.
It's really just an egg timer.
It is. It tells you how to hard-boil eggs.
It's like, yeah, it's hard.
So that chase scene is pretty great. There was some great fucking action scenes. It's hilarious that the kid knows how to fly a plane all of a sudden. Like, there's all these things that you're just like,
because he just was interested in planes.
Yes, the guy taught him on the thing, and like that point.
Wow, that's such a.
And that part where she has the dynamite, and yet she's still like translating the graphicos for them. I was like, why are you even telling them what it actually says? Just tell them whatever. They don't fucking know. They don't fucking. You're gonna blow the ship up anyways, and nobody gets hurt. They fire the cave. The ship doesn't sink.
And then the guy knows where they're going because he sees them go in binoculars.
I love how the Nazis show up immediately wherever they go.
Yeah, they always figure out where they are.
They always can figure out. They always time it perfectly, too.
They find them every time somehow.
Well, the thing is this. So I have a similar reaction to Ruggs. I thought I was walking into a train wreck. Yeah. And the movie's not a train wreck.
It's not.
I feel the same though. I don't know those the Phoebe Bridgewaller, that character. Yeah. What's her name?
Helena.
Yeah. And the dude, her dad. What's his name?
Oh, Basil.
They weren't ever in the other movies, right?
No. Nope.
So it's like I don't know that they do the
feels
best
so
job
engineered, right?
Yeah. It doesn't feel. I get what they're going for. That hey, these characters from his past, he's going to have this one last ride, but I just don't. They needed more. I think they needed more of a connection with those characters,
relationship
to make me feel like this movie was necessary to happen.
What about her and Teddy? Isn't that weird? The thing is, the story she tells how she met Teddy. He was trying to pickpocket her. That's how Indy meets Short Round in fucking Temple of Doom. So it's almost like too many things.
Well, they're trying to make. This is the thing. All right, you want to make a female version of Indiana Jones, right. An archaeologist, a spelunker, or whatever, danger seeker. Well, we already have Laura Croft, and she's got a British accent.
No, but I like that she's in it for the money. She's like, really, she just wants to sell.
And so is Laura Croft to a degree, so it's kind of like you're now kind of copying a copy. And they tried to make it distinct, I guess, by making her like a kind of older woman and more of like but like you have this woman that looks like she's like a librarian and, doing all this action stuff and whatever. Something doesn't really work.
I like her though. I liked her in other things. She's very good performer.
No, I think she acted great and she did whatever she could to pull it off. It just, I don't 100% buy into it. Like, I wouldn't go on and watch her in her own movie.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anybody would.
Yeah, I don't see action star in that character.
She got famous with that show, which is more like comedy that she wrote and started.
The Fleabag.
Yeah. It's like a.
Yeah, there is that element. I mean, they're trying to make her more comedic, a little bit more edgy. I just don't know that the role fit her.
Yeah.
I don't know the role fit her. I don't know that her and Indy, I just didn't really buy them together.
See, I like their chemistry. The second time I felt it more for some reason. It worked. I was like, I felt for them.
There's a lot like
favorite parts.
I don't know. The thing is, I don't know if I have a favorite part.
Okay.
The tuk-tuk stuff is fun.
Yeah. That chasing.
when they're on the train and the bad guy gets hit in the face.
Oh yeah, let's talk about
and
that.
you think he's dead?
Shouldn't he be?
And then he has not a scratch
Yes,
on him.
Shouldn't he at least be disfigured? That thing whacked him in the head so hard. He went flying. I was like, he's dead. Nope. And he looks fine. Barely hurt at all.
There are a couple of cool things. I did like the whole thing where they thought it was a dragon.
Yeah. In Syracuse.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Planes arrive.
Yeah, and then you see like on the tomb, there's propellers on the thing. Okay, well,
I was
look.
trying to figure out. I was trying to figure out during that scene how you would use that dial to calculate where you would go at the exact point in time.
No, you can't. It was pre-programmed. Archimedes
Right.
made it to send help. But they
I knew
thought,
that.
yeah. But how would you do it based on?
But how would you? But like them, if you're putting yourself in those guys' shoes, how would they know how to use that to get back to us? Like to get to a specific point in time,
right? How did he know he was
seemed
going
like to be like? I mean, it's possible, but
no. Like they
how
would.
would you
They
do
would. There was never. They never had the ability to do that. That was just like some illusion that they had. But I guess the device finds holes that you can go through.
Yeah, the thing just identifies the time fissures.
But then how would they have known? I get that it wasn't. It was actually rigged to always go back to that specific point. But how would they know? Like, oh, this fissure is going to lead to Germany 1942 on a Monday.
Unclear.
Right.
So okay, let's start there.
It'd be like that screen credit.
We're gonna.
Right?
We're yes, barely an inconvenience at all. Let's start. Let's just talk about
Get
the last
all the way off my back.
You're gonna have to get all the way off my back because that's how I wrote it. That's the reason. Let's just talk about the last half hour of the movie. Indy gets shot. He is shot for 30 fucking minutes.
He's an
losing
80-year-old
blood.
man with a bullet in his
And
fucking shoulder.
he's fine, right? And we don't find out what actually Voller wants to do until like the last half hour. His plan is to go back and kill Hitler so that he could do the war better and win it for, which is okay. Okay, that's your plan. Sure.
So he's like super Hitler.
Then we also see the kid just knows how to fly a fucking plane in a storm. So they fly into this thing, and Indy's like, plate tectonics or something. The plates are going to shift. You don't know where you're going.
Continental drift.
Continental drift is what he said. He's like, you don't even know where you're going. Instead, they end up in 212 BC at the actual siege of Syracuse in ancient Rome. Archimedes is there. He's building this thing. Somehow Helena rescues him out of the plane. They parachute down. They survive. The plane crashes. Indy gets to meet Archimedes. And like this is a silly fucking thing, but the emotion got to me. This guy who spent his life searching for history and studying it is now in history. And I totally get
that kind of hit a little bit.
And I totally get when he was like, I'm going to stay here. I mean, he's with Archimedes.
Yeah, remember in the one with the Grail, he wanted to get the Grail and he was willing to like fall down the fucking chasm to get it. And his dad had to like tell him, just fucking leave it alone.
You know, and that's like they all have like supernatural shit in them. Like that was supernatural. That one knight was in there for God knows how long. And so this pushes it a little bit more. So him and Helena and Archimedes are there arguing. And this is when she gets a little emotional and she's like, no, I want to save you. And she fucking turns around and decks him. We are supposed to believe he is unconscious for so long that she drags him back into the plane. They fly through the portal. They land. They get him back to his bed in Brooklyn and change his clothes.
Thing.
And then he fucking wakes up. What kind of punch was this?
And all the while being wanted for murder.
Oh yeah, he's apparently marked man. Like her and Teddy did this. What the fuck? That was quite a punch.
They never closed that.
She has quite a right hand.
Yes,
she is basically Mike Tyson
she
in a woman's
fucking
body.
knocked his ass out for days.
She's propofol,
but I do like
incarnate.
I do like this time loop. It's the kind of time loop that was always supposed to happen, right? He had to go back, show Archimedes the thing so that Archimedes could build the thing and all this shit would happen. And he knew they were coming, Archimedes. But then, this is when Marion returns and they do. Oh, this was another callback. They do the whole scene from Raiders where she's like, tell me where it doesn't hurt and I'll kiss it. But then it's reversed. That whole thing was from Raiders of the Lost Ark. And now they're back together and he grabs his head as the fucking circle wipes out whatever. I mean,
he's gonna bang her with his hat on.
He's gonna bang her with his head on, nothing else. A decent, and then at the end, I'm like, okay, that's a decent final outing. They didn't kill him, but They gave him one last adventure, I guess. Like, so, and that's the other thing that bothers me is like, if you compare, Mangold is pretty good with the action, but Steven Spielberg's action, though, it's on another level, right? I don't think he got close to like a Spielbergian style of action.
Well, there's just so much CG being used.
Yeah.
And there is that kind of artificial look to everything.
100%.
So,
Yeah.
So it doesn't, you never really feel as invested in the action because you know it's like a video game.
That's exactly what it feels like.
So it's like, and that's okay because like we watch Godzilla versus Kong and we know that it's not real, but like I feel like they're two different things. You're comparing two different kind of things. One can't exist, and Indiana Jones can exist in a real world, and you have to like do your best to be convincing. So I think they just leaned on the CG way too much.
Little, yeah.
They didn't develop the character of Helena and the relationship with Indy that much, and they had like way too many contrivances and like weird leaps of logic in this film.
But then you get some like nice cave things. They're solving puzzles. You get some like, you know.
No, this movie definitely has good moments, but I said it's basically every time it does something good, it does something else to knock it back down again.
It is this mixed fucking bag.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, it's not fair though to completely compare what Spielberg was doing with what James Mangold's dealing with an 80-year-old man.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
It's not like this guy can like believably do anything.
Yeah.
So but it does feel at times very, very cutscene video game.
Well, they use there's some stunt doubles used. There's a guy that's always doubled him that they used, and then they put his face on him and stuff, and certain they did.
But if you like this, you find this artifact and it leads you to this, but you have to actually decipher what it means because you have to. It's always a riddle.
Yeah.
Like it reminded me of other indie movies.
Yeah,
but it reminds you of like Uncharted. So if you like that kind of looking for artifacts. They're tied into history. It's related to this that goes to this. Like this is that movie to a T, and it does that stuff well. So if you like it, it's hitting all those notes. I just don't think the movie is that necessary.
That's Indiana Jones in a nutshell. What you just said, yes, absolutely. Right. And like the tying into real history, they always do it in every movie, which is great. But
there's just not enough for me. I don't feel like there's enough. I almost feel like it almost should be. Like it's just another adventure.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a big finale.
Yeah, if this is like his last movie, which it should be.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like it ended. And I went, wow, what a send off. I just felt like, oh, that was his adventure in his 80s.
You know how you feel that way at the end of fucking The Last Crusade. That's exactly how you feel. You're like, wow, what a fucking send off, and that should have been.
That's where they should have ended.
That should have been the last fucking movie.
And then they did two more.
What do you think about this whole Manosphere thought process that Helena steals the movie from and kind of he becomes like a side character in his own movie for a while?
A little bit.
Do you believe that?
No, I saw, a Critical Drinker also made that point that like this is another example of a female character being better at a man than everything and putting the man down. He's on his luck and she just knows everything. I didn't get that vibe actually, to be honest.
No, there are points where he shows her up and she's wrong.
Well, I feel like that she's a vehicle to kind of get around him being old.
Yeah.
That's what it more felt like is like they're trying to do the passing the torch type thing. I just don't believe she's believable in that role.
I didn't even feel like it was a passing the torch. Like she's not going to be. She was just there for this ride. Like,
well, you don't think if that did well that they might have decided, you know what? Let's keep it going with her.
I guarantee you $1 million,
right?
That there's a scene where she gets a bullwhip and a Stetson hat.
Yeah,
I guarantee it.
See, I didn't feel like they were forcing this passing the torch. But
no, I think that they had a little bit of controversy because there were different sets of leaks that went out.
Yeah,
one set that was completely wrong and made up bullshit, or it could have been true, like from early drafts of the script or something, but not what was filmed. And then there was the actual leaks where they did confirm that she was basically driving the action for a large portion of the movie. And so people were balking at it, and there could have been a different ending. There could have been something that they changed. So because those screenings were way before it came out, and those leaks were way before it came out. So it could be that they probably backed off of it a little bit, but I felt like when you have an 80-year-old star, you need someone to do the stuff.
You do need someone to help prop him up a little bit. Just kind of hold his hand, lean on somebody to lean on.
Like, remember when fucking Sean Connery was in the movie?
Yeah.
Like, he was old man
Junior.
at that point. Yeah.
Junior, what did
doing
you do?
all kinds of crazy stunts, too.
Yeah.
He's knocking people out.
No, he just had to open an umbrella over and over again and shit. No, he did have some punches, but that's fucking, he was James Bond. He can handle that shit, right? Even though he's in
he comes with the pedigree.
Yeah,
he
knows what he's
he
doing.
was a Highlander for crying out
Yeah,
loud.
it can be only one. So
I mean,
yeah.
you know, the thing too, again, not a bad movie, really not.
Yeah.
What we saw even this director do, which now Marvel's actually kind of fucking with, but we saw this director do a perfect send-off with Logan.
Yeah.
Right? We saw an awesome adventure where it was an old guy.
Oh, yep.
Getting back.
And a kid.
Yep. Reinvigorating his life one last time. And again, Marvel's going to fuck that up. But
probably.
We've seen it. We've seen like how to do it.
Yeah.
And there's other movies too that have like perfect send-offs. I just didn't know, even as a non-indie fan, I didn't feel like they did the character justice.
No, and like that's the thing. Like it should have been a lot more in the feels. It should have been better, but it's not a train wreck. It could have been a mess. And
no, it's a good adventure.
Well made, yeah.
It's just not the best adventure.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit noisy and it's a little bit long.
All right. Well, then with that, let us give us our final thoughts. Give me a rating and a ranking if you want against all the movies, Anthony.
Well, I can't rank it against the movies.
That's fine.
I would go with a solid 6 out of 10.
Okay.
It's a fun movie. It's a little too long. It's just not believable, but it's fun. I mean, it was a movie. Literally, I had it on.
Yeah.
And I had it on. I was watching it, and then I had it on in the background. And it's a perfect movie to have on in the background when you're kind of doing stuff. And
yeah,
it's easy to just be like, oh, they're here, and they're looking for this. And
This is great for the Disney Plus.
In that
Yeah,
sense.
it's a good streaming movie.
Yeah.
Okay, Ruggs, what are you gonna do?
It's a MacGuffin movie. They're chasing this.
I mean,
thing,
they
they're
all
going
are.
there,
Though.
they're-
Every
they all
fucking
go
Indiana
there.
Jones movies.
It's a very MacGuffin-y, very predictable, very by the numbers Indiana Jones like movie. In comparing all the indie films, I'd probably put this at number 4 from better than Crystal Skull.
Yeah.
But not better than any other ones.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to give it a 6.5.
Okay.
I did fall asleep while watching.
Okay.
It was not good.
Was it
In the middle of the day, I fell asleep.
Was that what part of the movie was that? This is the underwater scene. Was it underwater
I
stuff?
don't remember exactly.
It's a little muddy in the underwater.
I
stuff.
think it's when they actually are about to get it. They're in the cave.
Oh, that late. Okay.
And he's talking
yeah.
about methane or something.
Oh yeah,
And I
that's
fell
when they're solving puzzles in Athena, and then they slide down the thing and they find the thing.
Yeah.
They turn the thing. By the way, if Harrison Ford is in this show Shrinking on Apple TV Plus, he's really good in the show as this cranky old psychiatrist. Like the man still has chops. He doesn't have to do action in that show, so it's great.
Stop trying to be funny. You're a Nazi.
He's great. He's great. Yes, that's great. That's a good line. That's some good
Like
lines.
his best line in the movie.
Look, I love the Indiana Jones, and I enjoyed this a little more the second time. I'm gonna give it a 7.5. The nostalgia bait worked for me. You just got to put on that music, and I'm fucking in. Yeah. And as far as ranking, my favorite, is Temple of Doom. Raiders is without question a better movie. My favorite is Temple of Doom. Then I would do Last Crusade, and then this movie, and then 4 is just shit. But this movie was also not necessary. They lost a lot of money. They didn't have to spend fucking $300 million on the movie. You don't need that much to make Indiana Jones.
Yeah. You know what? My opinion is that this movie should have been about him, almost like Rocky Balboa.
Oh.
Where, remember Rocky Balboa? He was just like, you know what? I'm still here and I can still do something. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Instead of having to be dragged in, kicking and streaming into this adventure like an old grumpy man.
Yeah.
Maybe he's working at the school and he sees that like, okay, he's irrelevant. So let me do something that I'm good at. Let me find one last discovery, you know? And it would have, to me, I would have been able to like really latch onto that because I'm old too. And I want to fucking do one last thing.
Part
maybe.
of the problem is this thing, like the same thing with Luke Skywalker in that fucking movie. He shouldn't have been all grumpy old fucking Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, I think that was misguided.
Yeah, who made this decision to make these older stars like all miserable and just depressed and have to be dragged back into things? It's not. You wrote that already. It's not necessary. Why you do?
Yeah.
But it's exciting to see a new one last indie movie, and yeah, it's all good. Good performances. Okay. Good stuff. Let's do some news from the nation. It's time for news from the nation. It's time for news from the nation.
It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
Got one comment from part of a Latin Heat group on our Facebook page. Ralph Bravo.
Latin Heat.
That was so. I guess somebody got that. It was a wrestling reference. Bilotti threw out. I did not know.
Latino Heat. Yes.
Yeah, Latino Heat. Ralph Bravo says, so my son and I just walked out of watching Godzilla -1. He's a huge Godzilla fan and begged for me to bring him, and I'm in no way a fan after the Godzilla with Matthew Broderick. But after listening to last week's episode with John Bilotti Jr., I decided to give it a chance, and it definitely lived up to all your reviews and recommendations, and we're going back to watch it again tonight. Thank you, guys. But now my son wants to travel to Chicago and New York to go to G-Fest and to Bilotti's Con, Kaiju Brooklyn. That's pretty
cool.
great. Geek boner. That's pretty great. We're making converting fans. I
had a friend, my friend, he was on the show, Chris Sotelo, a while back. He messaged in our group and was like, this Godzilla movie is amazing.
Yeah.
And he's not a Godzilla fan either. So if people see it, they're usually impressed.
They are.
You can convert anyone.
They are converted. I think it's not in the theaters anymore. Did they extend it again? Does anybody know? I don't know. Because the 14th is what I heard. Box office wide, worldwide, this movie that was made for $15 million has made $64 million.
That we know of.
Yes. And even
I think it's actually, they didn't report the Japan earnings. I think it's like 15 million or something.
I think even the budget, the director was commented after hearing that. He said something to the effect of, I wish it was that much.
I think it was more like 10 million.
It might have been even less. And still, it's 64 million. That is a hell of a return.
Yeah.
What do you think it could top out at? Maybe it can get to 70, 80?
If it makes $100 million, oh
my God,
that'd be amazing.
Oh my God.
It could. Yeah. I think it could. I feel like maybe realistically it'll probably stop at like 75 to 80, still 85.
Still a great return. That's
because it just opened in like Australia and the UK. It's opening now.
So it's still opening across the world.
So let's say it picks up like 10 million there, 10 million there. Boom. You're at 80 right there. I don't know if it's going to make that much. I feel like it's probably, but I think 80 is probably a safe bet, I would say.
Well, you guys got to welcome in all the new Godzilla fans. It's converting.
That's right.
Converting a lot of people.
Come aboard, everyone.
Hello.
It's mainstream.
Come on board. We were happy to have you.
Ride this kaiju with us.
That's right.
Okay. Let's finish with some what are we watching? Speaking of Godzilla, Monarch. The Legend of Monsters. What is it called? I don't even know the full time.
Legacy of Monsters episode.
We're on to episode 6. We've started the back half of this 10 episode series on Apple TV Plus. You guys watched, right? You caught up?
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you what you think. I'm just gonna say this was a lot better episode than the last 2 episodes.
Yeah, when you're not concentrating on the other characters and you're going into the past, it's much more compelling.
Holy shit, 100%. We got the 50s flashback. We got both timelines going. A fucking Godzilla appearance in both timelines, and the first appearance of him in between the 2 movies post 2014. Holy shit, what are your thoughts? What'd you think? What did we learn?
Yeah, it was definitely a better episode.
Oh, spoilers.
It's still not not a perfect show by any means. It's not even really. I wouldn't even call it prestige television at this point. But the flashbacks really help. They're introducing the fact that this was a love triangle now between these three, which is fine.
That's amazing. How does she end up with Bill Randa? Those two have some great chemistry.
Yeah. So, and then you get the Godzilla appearances. If for a Godzilla fan, you get the guy saying "Welcome to Monster Island," which is a huge thing in the Godzilla. So, yeah, I mean, it looks like Hiroshi is, and now or not Hiroshi. Russell's character, Kurt Russell's character, is like trying to help Godzilla.
Yeah, he's being a bit of a dick too, but he is trying to help.
Yeah, I mean, so you have the Godzilla appearances. You have. I also came to peace with the fact that the show is not really a Godzilla show. It's more what is the mystery, like Monarchs, like the inner workings of Monarch, and like what happened with this guy. What happened with the people that are exiled from Monarch, and what do they know? And
why did it change?
How does that affect everything? So, yeah, it was fine.
So, Ruggs, after 2014's Godzilla, he fucked off and fell asleep in the desert. Is that what happened?
I don't know.
I don't know that he falls asleep. I think it's
through the
maybe
tunnels. The hollow
he's
earth
just
tunnels?
underneath.
Oh,
Yeah, I think that was one of those points where there now is a tunnel into the hollow earth from there.
Right.
He probably left that behind. He probably went into one of those holes and hung out in his own little temple, chilled there, watched some TV, and then he went into the desert because of that thing that was calling him.
Oh yeah,
he wasn't there.
Yes,
they had that machine,
the gamma ray simulator.
This is my prediction: is that the old guy, what's his name? Fuck.
Lee Shaw.
Lee Shaw is actually the father of him. He banged the mom.
Yeah. He's Hiroshi's dad. That's what I thought too. He's really his son.
So they're not really Randa.
Yeah, it's Shaw. Because so what worked for me in the past storyline was that romance. That relationship really worked. And then the mystery of the dad in the present 2015 was also working because you see him and then he just fucks off and runs off. And then they split up like idiots again. I don't know why they always split up. But both Godzilla appearances were fantastic in the 50s when he knocks that thing and he shows up and you could see Keiko is like really happy that he's not dead and he's bigger. And then Kate and Godzilla go eye to eye again. She's just standing there looking at him. And maybe he recognizes her. I don't know. And then he just turns and walks away. You don't think so?
No.
He just checks him out.
Yeah.
He's like, all right.
I wanted him to fuck up that helicopter. Did it get blown up? Did they all die? Did Tim die in the helicopter? I don't remember.
No, I don't think they died. They think they just
crashed.
maybe they did. I don't know.
I thought it blew up. Didn't it blow up?
Maybe right.
Anyways, it was a lot better.
It was fine. I mean, the main three characters are not great.
No, they're still kind of annoying.
Also, like the dad disappearing.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of asshole is he?
Can't
you just tell him?
He's like, no, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that was poorly written.
And then he just
the whole thing
off.
now that he sees them in person and is just here's the bad part of the show. And there's lots of things to criticize. Similar to the Nazis just showing up whenever Indy is at a spot.
Yeah.
These guys land, like everyone is able to go to exact coordinates across the world.
Yeah, instantly.
And always stumble upon each other at the exact time. Like everyone's getting there at the same time all the time.
Like they just cut to like, oh, now they're in Algeria driving in.
Now they're in Algeria. How'd they get there?
No, it doesn't
Who
matter.
knows? Barely an inconvenience. And then they're there.
Yeah.
And the father happens to be there this whole, like, how long has he been there? Like, how is he there?
Why is he still there?
And then how does Monarch figure it out? And they're there when they're all there.
Oh
like
my
it's
God.
just like what?
I was rolling my eyes so hard when Tim is like, "Oh, look at the holes in the wall. I could draw a map on this. Oh, this
he
must
figures it
be."
out.
I was
Yeah,
like,
that
"What
was
the fuck,
terrible.
bro? There's no holes in the wall. You can't tell shit."
And he freehand draws
the perfect-
the world.
in the perfect dimension proportion. Like what? I'm like, get the fuck out of here. That was a little much. That was
So
a little much.
there's still.
Like, there's no way.
it's going back to the mean, which is what the MonsterVerse has done, which is always written pretty poorly in terms of like humans and like how
It
things
had
work.
so much potential. That first episode, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. Now we're
Yeah.
cooking with gas.
Yeah, we've kind of gone down, and then it went down. It was like up and then down, and then a little bit up. But
Anytime you get just flashbacks and monsters, when it has that stuff,
it's good.
the show cooks well enough that it's edible.
Yeah.
It's just when you're getting into the past, you're seeing the formation of Monarch.
Right.
You're seeing like discovery. Like their whole thrust is to find kaiju and prove that they exist. That's what I want to see.
But why are they so resistant to the people who actually know what the fuck is going on and
Like,
have seen these monsters?
You finding out about your dad is not important.
Well, if you think about the dad's point of view, his two secret families are now together. That's a little awkward. I also wouldn't want to confront that. I'd be like, I'm going to go this way.
It's just a strange
Like, oh,
dynamic to be focused on right now.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want to, like, what are you trying to tell your audience? Like, what do you, like, if you're trying to bring a whole bunch of new fans into this MonsterVerse so you can kind of keep it going and expand on it and have people, like, get your content, like, why muddle it up with this fucking family drama that's not even
I
interesting?
don't really get the point of the whole show.
I think what they're trying to do, and they're not executing it well, is they're trying to make interesting human characters. But
You need a point.
the family drama, it just doesn't even make sense.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't-
why would the dad not tell them?
Yeah.
Not even if he's like, the affair thing is one thing, but why would he not be like, hey, I don't want you to think I'm dead. I'm literally
He's like the worst
chasing
person
monsters.
ever.
Yeah, he's horrible.
Well, I see why Kate is the way she is now then. She gets
and both
it
of the
from her
kids
dad.
suck too.
Yeah, they all, that's how he raised them. All right. Well, we'll hang it there.
It's just like, this is not relatable because no dad that gave a shit about their kids
Would do
would
this.
actually act like
Yeah.
this.
That's why it's instantly easier to like, Wyatt Russell's more,
Yes.
like more sympathetic. Like,
Yeah.
he's a guy,
Yeah.
Right.
he gets thrust into the situation, and he's attracted to this woman.
He's so good in this.
She's married to this dork who doesn't even like acknowledge her half the time.
Right.
And you're like, okay,
Well,
I can stick my
And
teeth into
he's like
this.
looking for excuses to go out there and protect her.
Well, we do
Like, that's
see
all man stuff.
We do see why she gets mad at him at the end because he fucked up and they gave Monarch to that other dude, and she's like, "You cost us Monarch." Maybe that's why she goes to Bill.
There was actually a line in there where I had to rewind it. I'm like, this show, like, I didn't think the show was gonna like make a line like that where he goes, my favorite part about making, he was like, what do you love most about children? And he's like, making them.
making
And I'm
them.
like,
He says
whoa.
that to her. I was like, yikes.
I'm like, that's a smooth line. I was like, I didn't think the show would go there with the sex.
They also, there's a little bit of like they're touching on like the Japanese racism where he's like, she's one of the good ones.
She's one of the good ones.
I was
yeah.
like, oh boy. But it was 1952 or whatever. The
No,
fuck.
I mean that all rings true.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
He's
He's
the
good.
other
Wyatt
thing that
Russell's
crossed my
great,
mind
yeah.
was like, Wyatt Russell in real life is 6'2",
Yeah.
and Kurt Russell in real life is 5'9".
Well, you shrink when you get older. That's what happens. You get smaller. You grow and then you get smaller.
I don't think you shrink 5
I
inches.
don't know.
But anyways,
Yeah.
the show is okay.
All right. 4 more episodes.
It's okay.
See what happens. What, Anthony, you watch anything else of note to mention?
No.
Rugs?
I have not.
Rugs, anything?
I watched the big reach around.
Oh, Reacher season 2 is out on Amazon. First 3 episodes. You watched the first 3 episodes?
Yes, I did.
So did I. What did you think?
it's fine.
It's a fun show. It's not like the greatest show. It's a little
Fucking
contrived, but
that actor just fucking got juiced
Alan
for
Richardson,
this.
Anthony. Alan Richardson is so huge in this. He could like
Alan who?
He
Alan
looks,
Richardson.
he looks
Look him up.
uncomfortably huge.
Yeah, he could barely move. He's so big. Like he's just cut.
Alan Richmond?
Richardson. Just look up Alan Richardson Reacher. He's giant. But I love
he looks like he did like a lot of
wow.
steroids.
Yeah, this guy
He's big.
he's fucking huge. Look at his fucking traps.
I mean,
and
these
shit.
actors are pumping.
He'd make a
all
great
sorts of shit
Batman.
I was thinking,
But, like-
people have mentioned fan casting him as Batman. I don't know if his acting would be good enough for Batman.
Well, Batman
fine.
doesn't really say much.
No, that's true. If you keep him quiet, but you'd be like, why is Bruce Wayne so fucking huge? Like, it would be a little giveaway.
He's humongous.
Giant.
He's fucking like 6 foot something, and he's humongous.
He is humongous. I love
It's
his.
crazy.
I love this Reacher character though. He's blunt. He just says the wrong things, and will help anyone, no matter what, with violent fucking punching and smashing.
Well,
through the
he's
glass.
like, it's funny because his character is very interesting that he just is a wanderer.
Yeah.
He just wanders
He's a phone,
like around the world.
He's a hobo. He's essentially a hobo.
He walks the earth like
Yeah.
Kane in Kung Fu.
He talks about I sleep in wherever, cheap motels. I'll eat at diners. Sometimes I hitchhike. I was like, the fuck, this big guy.
He buys used underwear.
Yes.
I guess when you're in the military, you're not really skeeved out by other people's testicle juice.
I like
being
this
on your clothes.
storyline though. Like this group, the 1/10, the special investigators he made in the past, and now someone is coming after them and taking them out, and they got to figure out.
You don't fuck with the special
You don't fuck with the
investigators.
special investigators. There's some great lines. The bar brawl where he's testing them, like the enlisted officers aren't supposed to be there, and this guy steps to him, and they all get up, and the guy's like, "You're outnumbered. We got 12. You only got 9." And he goes, "That's a shame. You're 3 short." And then they just beat the shit out of him. It's so fucking good.
Yeah, but Jack Reacher's always saying shit like
love
that.
it. That's like, we need more
Yeah,
guns.
that's what you watch it for.
Yeah.
It's like machismo
It's
personified.
brainless machismo, kind of like throwback 80s action. A lot of killing. Like, he's killing so many people. I'm like, don't you want to question one of these motherfuckers?
Dude, he's really he's killing people and throwing them in concrete.
Wouldn't you just want one of them to ask him who sent you and ask him some questions? No, they just fucking murder everybody.
Anthony, okay, so this is my favorite part of the whole fucking of the whole show is that he noticed there's some guy tailing him in a car.
Oh, this is great.
And so he's just like, fuck, this guy's been following me, sitting in that car, following me.
He's like, I'm going to go say
And so
hello.
He's like, I'm going to go say hello. So he just walks up to the car and the guy in the car is like, oh, fuck no, this guy thinks he's going to fuck with me. And he immediately just kicks the front bumper of the car, makes the airbag go off.
It's great.
And it breaks the guy's
It's
nose.
so great.
Oh my God.
He kicked it so hard the airbag went out, and then he pulls him out and beats his shit out of him.
Shit,
It was so great.
it's great. Totally great.
That guy,
It was so
that guy
fucking
ends up
badass.
helping them, which is also
Yeah.
great. But they almost fight. But that guy seems tough. He's a lot smaller. But
He'll destroy him.
yeah,
Come on.
yeah.
What are you
He's
talking
like, I can
about?
take you. I'm like, there's no way.
Jack Reacher will
Look at
destroy
how
him.
big fucking Reacher is. So it's
Yeah,
a
it's
fun,
crazy.
it's a fun, like, guilty pleasure show. It's well done, whatever. It's fine. He's fucking
I mean,
huge.
it is exactly what I need.
Yeah, yeah. It's fun to watch. Okay. Anything else, Ruggs?
That's it.
Okay.
That's all I would want.
All right. Me too. Like, I've been really busy. A little bit of work. But
Yeah, it's Christmas time.
this week, Christmas time it is. This week, there is a lot of shit coming out. Here's some watch alerts. Next week, we will be reviewing Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Comes out Friday, December 22nd. I am seeing it the Thursday night. It has a 4-day holiday opening, December 22nd, 25th. Right now, box office tracking is putting it around 40 to 50 million
Ooh.
on the 4-day. What do you guys think it will make? Can I get some numbers? Give me a hard number.
30.
30. Well, I was going to go like 55. I'm going to be generous. Ruggs, what would you say?
I don't know. Maybe 50 million, probably.
Well, all those numbers are not the greatest. They're a lot of money, but this is like a 200.
Like if it makes 50, that's a huge win for
This is a $250 million movie. It's the last time Momoa is probably playing Aquaman. He said as much in some recent interviews. But
I can't believe you played him this many times.
I mean, I get like, think about it. He's been, it's been like 12 years. He's been fucking Aquaman, maybe. But I'm looking forward to the batshit crazy. I'm looking forward to Black Manta being Black Manta and this crazy, all those crazy action scenes. I want to know if the baby dies. I need to see all of this. So I'm kind of geeked.
You
But
kind of pumped? Wow.
I'm kind of pumped.
I am
but
not
know,
pumped.
I mean, but I know it's going to be a fucking mess. And but James Wan tends to put some fun entertainment together.
If anything, it will be, you'll watching, you go, that was something. Like,
Yeah,
you'll
like,
have
this
it.
is
You'll
crazy.
have, it won't be bland.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
It's going to be something for sure. So we'll see how the end of the DCU ends up next week. Also coming out this week, What If Season 2 begins December 22nd on the Friday and then continues one episode a day for the next 9 days. The first one you're going to get is What If Nebula joined the Nova Corps? And then we're getting 9 episodes all the way through December 30th. Crazy release schedule, but that'll be fun. On top of all of that, Zack Snyder's Star Wars ripoff, Rebel Moon Part 1.
I'm excited.
Really? Oh, really?
Why not?
I'm pumped.
Yeah, me too.
December 21st on Netflix. Currently, this movie on Rotten Tomatoes with 52 reviews in from critics, is 23%. 3.9 out of 10. Here, get this. The audience score, there's 1,000 plus ratings, 72%. None of those people, the movie's not out. What are they rating? None of those people have seen the fucking movie in the audience score side. So I think there's some shenanigans over there. We know how his fans can be.
Right.
But there should not be an audience score for this movie that has not come out yet.
No.
There may have been a screening, but 1,000, I don't know.
Could it be if you had a VPN, maybe it released somewhere else, maybe in England or something?
I don't know,
first?
but the reviews are kind of what I anticipated going in, right? When you see it, kind of a Zack Snyder thing, all style over substance, derivative. I'm looking forward to watching it. It's going to be a long one.
I mean, you've seen the Zack Snyder movie.
Yeah.
There's nothing to
We've
it.
seen
really.
we know the Zack Snyder style. I know what I'm getting
There's going to
into.
be a lot of cool visuals.
A lot of slow-mo.
Good action.
Yeah.
Will it actually convalesce into a movie that has a plot that's actually interesting? Probably not.
Probably not. If there's barely a
There's
plot
going to be
hung together at all.
some glaring issue with it.
We know what he does. He does cool scenes just like strung together with barely a plot thread, right? But it's just like,
I think that he has a very good visual flair.
Yeah.
I feel like he does good action and dramatic things.
Yeah.
But story is not a strong point, and setting up a narrative and world building is not a strong point. So
yeah, if he would just hand that off to someone and then do what he's good at, like he can make like some amazing.
Like when he did 300 and he worked off Frank Miller's writing, then it was fucking amazing.
Yeah. And then he
didn't really have to do. He just had to make the visuals.
I mean,
look
that
good, and it was
zombie
fine.
movie, the two zombie movies aren't bad that he's done.
Right.
No, they're not bad.
Yeah. But then you got like Sucker Punch and shit where he just did everything.
That's when he tried to make like a fucking movie.
Yeah. He tried to make a real movie. Like he tried to make like a blockbuster movie, but within the blockbuster, something that was deeper than just a popcorn movie.
He tried to make Slutty Shutter Island.
Did not work.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
And it worked. No, that's exactly what it was. No, but no, it didn't work. Like that, he needed. That's what he wanted to do. That does not what it came across as.
Yeah. So if you know what you're getting into, then you can enjoy it for the shallow thing it's going to be. Something cool to look at. But then we'll see. Anyways, those will all be reviewed in the coming shows in the coming weeks. So prepare yourself, listener. That's it for this week. Ruggs, where can the listener find you?
Really Rug Boy on X.
Anthony.
That's where I express myself.
Anthony, where can the listener find you? Barry?
Actually, so this week at my Barry's class on tomorrow, they are it's being marketed as Barry's X Rebel Moon.
What, like Zack Snyder Rebel Moon?
Yeah.
Whoa,
I don't know what's going on, if they're like showing the movie while we work out or playing stuff from the movie.
This is an interesting sponsorship idea that they've done. Yeah. Wow. You may let us know what happens.
So I'll give if you remind me next week, I'll give you a report of what that actually meant.
That is like the craziest thing. Like, wow, that I would
I think that they're going to work out in slow-mo.
You have to work out in slow motion with lens flare and explosions or something. Wow, that's fascinating. Yeah, I can't wait to find out what that is. Maybe if you see the movie, let us know. We'll see what happens. Okay. But listen, the most important thing you can do for us is share the show, spread it around, send it to your friends. Jock and Nerd. Give them one of those, send the link, and all will be well. Thank you for listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the Nerd.
We'll peep you next time.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's really good.
Thing I offered you a chance to be a cop, and you blew it.
You blew it. Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
My balls was hot.
No, my balls was that.
Jock and Nerd.